You know you're in trouble when the head of the Federal Reserve doesn't know much about economics. There was an article that appeared in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution on April 2nd, 2010, which caught my eye. There's a statement in there regarding the job growth numbers, and as anybody has been paying attention to job growth numbers, the majority of those numbers are coming from the government sector. Most of this money, that's the so-called stimulus money, is being poured into government jobs. You also have new census workers coming into this as well. So these are inflated numbers. We're in a business here where hiring is very, very difficult, and the people we talk to are actually laying off people. And we know lots of people. We just had a family in our church that's leaving the area because he cannot find work here. Of course, he ended up going with the job out of state, taking his family out of state. Didn't want to leave the area, but that's the nature of all this. The governmental officials regarding economic matters always try to paint a very rosy picture. But one of the things in this article, let me read part of this. This is a strong March job growth number in a time when the economy is growing at only a middling pace would suggest that the productivity boom has largely run its course. Regardless, the question of what caused the burst in workers' efficiency is one of the great unanswered questions of the expansion and has huge stakes for the economy over the coming year. Now, what this is saying is that what's happened is even though we haven't seen very much job growth take place, the efficiency of workers has increased, way beyond expectations. And then the article goes on to say, it is an episode that we economists in general are going to want to understand better and look at for a long time, Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke said at a hearing last week, in which he described the productivity gains as extraordinary and acknowledged he had not foreseen this. They have to study this idea of why are workers so productive today? And it's for a very simple reason. Workers before, and I remember probably in the 1990s, you had companies posting help wanted signs and paying beyond the minimum wage. Productivity was really going at a very fast pace. And so workers could very easily move from one job to another job. If someone got fired or laid off at a particular job because of low productivity, because other companies were scrambling to find workers, it would be easy just to transfer your work from one company to another company. But today, because moving from one job to another job is very, very difficult, here in the Atlanta area, there are 5 people trying to get a job that it's only open to one person. So moving from company to company is very difficult. So what you're finding happening is that people have to hold on to their jobs. And how do you hold on to your job? Well, you hold on to your job by being more productive than the guy next to you because you don't want to get laid off. Look, this is simple economics. And it's unfortunate that the people who are running things at the top don't understand this. And we have a saying here at American Vision that when you come to American Vision, you have to be willing to do at least 5 things. Nobody is hired here just to do one thing. Now, whatever comes up to be done, you've got to do it. And if that means stopping what you're doing or working extra hours to do it, that's what you have to do. Productivity is the most important aspect of all of this. In months past, we've cut our budget considerably. We cut our staff down. We eliminated a couple of departments. Then we came back and hired in a very, very selective area. But productivity is the name of the game. And if you want to keep your job in a company today, you're probably going to outperform in terms of what you've done previously in order to maintain that job. This is just typical of what is going on in our country. Our politicians don't understand economics. The article goes on, businesses have certainly not been investing in new equipment that might enable workers to be more efficient. capital expenditures plummeted during the recession and are rebounding slowly. Again, another economic reality here. You don't know what's going to happen. You've pulled in your expenses. You've tightened your workforce. Productivity is up among your workforce. It's very difficult to make a decision to purchase new equipment because you don't know what's going to happen down the road. So you'll generally come in and fix older equipment, make the older equipment work better for you. What we have in our economy right now is a lack of understanding of what's going to happen. This new health care bill, companies are looking at it and saying, I don't know what it's going to cost me. Now you have Paul Volcker say, well, what we need is a European-style value-added tax, which means that at every point in the development of a commodity, a tax is added to it all the way down to the consumer. Or companies are going to say, how is this going to affect me? And then you have companies who are holding cash. You have banks who aren't lending commercially. Why is all this taking place? Because money is a coward. Money goes in only those places in which it is most secure. Because government officials have no concept of budgetary constraints, they have no concept on how the economy really works. All they have to do is just to pass a law to transfer money from this area to another area. This just happened in Georgia. I just heard a couple of minutes ago. And so they're taxing hospitals in order to get money, to save money in other areas, and then this is going to give them an influx of federal dollars. Well, companies don't have this ability. If a company is losing money, you just can't go to the government and say, give us more money, but governments can do this all the time. So we are not only we are in a government takeover of our economy, but we have economists who don't understand economics. And I suspect that what's true at the top is also true at the bottom. You have a majority of Americans who don't understand economics either. And so if we're going to change our nation, I believe the best way to change it is to get people at the bottom to understand the realities of economics. And we have to do that through the area of education. And this is why the Gary DeMar Show is brought to you each day, to help you and so you can help others understand the realities out there regarding the economics and the economy.
For more related to this topic, check out God and Government, a biblical and historical study. You will find it at AmericanVision.com.